Hey, fourth grade. I promised you a trip around the world to some really cool countries, learning some really cool songs, and we are going to start with Africa. All right, let's get into Africa. Now, as you can see here, Africa is one of the largest continents on the planet. It's not the largest, we'll talk about that one another day, but it is one of the largest. Now, we're not going to cover all of these countries in Africa. Now, let me make something really, really clear. Africa is a continent, not a country. I've had that question in the past, so I just want to make very, very clear that we understand that. Africa is a continent, not a country, and it has several different countries inside of it, 54 to be exact, okay? Now, four of the ones that we are going to hit on include Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. So let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off with Nigeria. Now, as you can see, Nigeria is a country that is located in kind of that crook part in the northwestern corner. So if I were to come to the map here and we were to look right in this area, right somewhere in here, we'd see Nigeria. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, I had to get really close to the map to see it. So that's Nigeria right in here in this crook part. Fairly large country. It is located in the western coast. Its population is over 190 million. That's a lot of people. There are hundreds of different languages spoken in Nigeria, including English amongst them. Several different African dialects. You've got a little bit of French spoken there, some Spanish. It's hundreds of different languages. The capital of Nigeria before the year 1976 was Lagos, and after 1976 it became Abuja. Okay, now modern Nigeria, as we sort of kind of know it nowadays, dates back all the way to 1914 when the British protectorates, and this is what the British and the French and some of these European countries would do. They would go to these different countries in Africa and Asia, and they would not so much take over the country, but just say, hey, you guys are under our protection, so if another country tries to take you over or something happens, we can help you out. So sometimes it wasn't all that great. Sometimes it kind of worked out. But in this case, Nigeria wasn't all that happy about it. But what did happen with the British protectorates coming in is it united the northern and the southern portions of Nigeria, and they were joined to create one large country. The country became independent on its own from everybody else on October 1st of 1960, and in 1963 they adopted a republican constitution, not too unlike the one we have here in America, where to be elected, they become a member of what they call a Commonwealth, okay? All right, so they did become a member of the Commonwealth, meaning they're still considered part of England or British or the United Kingdom, however you want to phrase it, but they are considered an independent nation, very similar to Australia, which we're going to be talking about another time. Now, each different ethnic group of Nigeria has its own special musicalities to it, its own special traditions and instruments that they play and things like that. Now, some traditional instruments include flutes and trumpets, not too dissimilar to the flutes and trumpets we're used to here in America, but you know, a little bit different. They have musical bows, xylophones, wooden clappers, as well as a variety of drums. And this is an example of one of those drums from Africa. You see this type of drum featured in a lot of African music. This is called a djembe. You can see that it's hollow in the bottom. It has got, usually a lot of times, especially back in the old days, they would use some kind of animal skin that was pulled tight over with ropes holding the drum head membrane down. Now, the music that they use to celebrate rulers, they would use music to accompany public assemblies, weddings and funerals, festivals, and storytelling. So basically, you can kind of see they really try to incorporate music into everything. And here are some classic Nigerian instruments. You get instruments like the agogo. And yes, you heard me say agogo, A-G-O-G-O. And that is this instrument here. This is the agogo. It's got two different two different bells on it that you would use to play. We also, in Nigerian music, have something, and all across Africa, honestly, have an instrument called a shekere. Shekere. So a shekere. This is one that I made. I created a gourd that I sealed the hole on the gourd. I covered it in spray paint, and then I created a netting with some beads, and you can shake it, rub it. So it's basically it's a shaker, but with the beads on the outside instead of the inside, like you would see for a shaker or a Spanish maraca. Okay. All right. So now we're going to learn a very famous song from Nigeria called Funga Alafia. Now, Funga Alafia is a very popular song in Nigeria, and what I've done is I've pulled up just the basic melody for you here. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia. I thought I started it. Okay, like I said, one of the most popular songs in Nigeria is a song called Funga Alafia, and I've got just the basic melody featured for you here. That's Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. And then they repeat it over and over again, but with different layers of instruments, dancing, different things like that. Now, the Funga Alafia is welcome or blessings or greetings, and then Ashe, which is actually spelled S-A-S-E with a little symbol over the E, and that's very similar to our word we have here in the English language. When we finish praying, we say Amen. So basically you're saying welcome, blessings, Amen. So they're praising that we are having blessings, that you were here, and we're glad that you have joined us. So it's just a happy celebration song. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this song and we're going to really make it big. So one more time, I'm going to teach you the basic melody of it, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to take the song and create something bigger out of it. So listen one more time. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so now we're going to take this song and I'm going to show you how we're going to make it really bigger. So we're going to take that melody and we're going to expand it. So look at our first line we've got here. We basically say, Fungi, welcome, greetings into my heart in various patterns. So sing this after me. Fungi. Then we do this. Welcome. Fungi. Greetings. All right, here's the next one. This is where it starts to get a little different. Funga. Welcome. Sorry for my chair keeps squeaking. Every time I move, my chair squeaks. You guys are been in the classroom, you're used to it, okay? Here's the next part. Funga. And the last part of the top line. Into my heart. Okay. And then to round that off, before we start singing the main melody, we sing this. Funga. Welcome. Funga. Welcome. Now, there is a few beats of rest in between each one of these phrases that we sing, so don't just jump into the next part as soon as you sing the first one. It's at the beginning, the first one we have Funga, 2, 3, 4. Welcome, 2, 3, 4. Funga, 2, 3, 4. Greetings, 2, 3, 4. Funga, 3, 4. Welcome, 2, 3, 4. Funga, 3, 4. Into my heart. Okay. All right. Now, and then on the second line, it's 3 beats in between each. So you'll count 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to turn the CD on, and I'm going to do a little bit of djembe drumming with it. So just to make it a little bit more interesting, let's see what you guys have got. Here we go. Welcome, 2, 3, Conga, 2, 3, 4. Greetings, 2, 3, 4. Conga, welcome, 2, 3, 4. Conga, into my heart. Here we go. Conga, welcome, 2, 3, 4. Conga, welcome, 2, 3, 4. Now we start singing the main melody. Remember, it was Fonga la fia she she. Fonga la fia she she. Basically, you're going to sing that 2 times, or if you really think about it, it's just a little short line that you sing 4 times, and then you go into the Fonga and the welcome section, just like we did just a second ago on that second line that we just did. Okay, so let's see if we can try that. Are you guys ready? All right, here we go. Welcome, 2, 3, 4. Welcome, 2, 3, 4. Welcome. Okay, let's do the melody again. You go. Very cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that song. Now what we're going to do, put my djembe down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the song, and I dropped the djembe. Sorry, you guys. We're going to take the song and we're going to look back at that main melody we had just a second ago. So let me come back over here. And actually, let me pull it up bigger for you guys. All right, so now we're going to take this melody and try to figure out what's going on with this rhythm we got in here. Because some of these notes probably look pretty familiar to you guys, and some of them probably don't look very familiar at all. Okay, so I'm going to start you out. Let me get a red pen. And forgive me for the writing. I'm trying to use the mouse to write, so it's a little wobbly. Okay. All right. So first off, I want you guys to look at this rhythm here. We see this guy dotted all throughout the song, and this guy should be very familiar to you guys. This is simply a ta. Okay, and yes, that is supposed to be a T and an A, so let's make it a little clearer there. That is a ta. Now, another pattern that may look familiar to you is this guy right here, and that is our beat of silence. A lot of times I have you guys say sh, but that is horrible. I'm going to erase that and try that again. Like I said, a lot of times I have you guys say sh. Oh, no, don't want to erase Ollie. Just want to erase that. But when you do your recorder, remember that you don't actually say sh, because if you make a sh and do your recorder, then it's going to make a sound, okay? So for our purposes for this one, I don't actually want you to say sh in that. I just want you to just beat of rest. Just don't make any sound at all. Recognize that that is a beat, but don't make any sound at all, okay? All right, so now we're going to erase all these ink marks so we can see what we're doing. Okay, now if we come down here, I want you to notice this guy right here. Something really interesting about him, he's got this flag on him. Notice you got one right here. He's just right side up instead of upside down. That's totally okay. If it's upside down or right side up, really doesn't matter. But that little flag tells us instead of being worth 1 beat, like these tas are, these guys are only worth half of a beat. Now, just a little refresher. I'm going to put this symbol on the screen, and I want to see if you guys can remember what this is. Who remembers what we call this? I'll give you just a second. Yeah, if you said TT, you're absolutely correct. All right, so I'm going to put TT up here to remind us about that. Okay. Now, let's say I only want one of those. Because remember, your TT, this guy is worth 1 whole beat, but it's 2 sounds on 1 beat. T, T. That's 1 beat, 2 sounds. But I only want one of those guys. I don't want both. So what I'm going to have to do, get my eraser here, is I'm going to have to erase half of him. Let me get my pen back. And that leaves a stem. But now my stem is very, very, very sad. So instead of my stem being straight across because we stole his partner, my stem's going to droop like that. Or if he's upside down, he'll swing up like that. So this guy, instead of being TT, when you have just that one little spot, now you just have T, just a simple T. So this would be T-ta, T-ta, ta, T-ta, T-sh. Fangalafia, she, ashe. Fangalafia, she, ashe. Okay, so that's your basic pattern there. So just a quick review. And what we're going to do is, as we go through these songs from all these other countries, we're going to take a moment to look at the rhythms of them so we can give you a rhythm refresher. We're also going to try and refresh you on some of your music notes that you learned with your recorders. And on that note, let me erase all this ink so we can talk about that. Two of these notes should look very familiar to you. These two guys right here. And you can see they're in various spots throughout our little melody here. One of these is your space note that you learned. Remember, that was 2 fingers on the front with your thumb in the back of the recorder. And let's see, who remembers what that note was? Anybody? If you said it was an A, you are correct. Very good. Now check out this guy. He's located on the 1, 2, second line of our staff. So who remembers what that is? Because we had 2 notes that were line notes. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, if you said G, you are correct. Let me see if I can write a G. Oh, it's not too bad. So anytime we see something in that second space, that's an A. I see one right here. And whenever we see something on the second line, that is a G. And I see them dotted all throughout our song here, okay? All right, so, and there's one other that you learned on your recorder, but we don't have it in this song. So when we find a song that has that, we are going to point that out, and we're going to keep looking at these rhythms. We're going to keep going through all these different countries. We're going to finish up Africa, and then we're going to move on to a new continent. But, so next time I see you guys, we're going to be doing another country and going from there. And we're going to have some games we're going to play and some cool songs, some instruments and stuff that we're going to do. So don't forget though, once this video is over, you need to go and complete the quiz. It's really important that you complete the quiz at the end of each of your videos. Your quiz is located, the link for it, in 2 spots. You can go down to the description below this video, click the link there. That'll take you over to where you can do the quiz. Or you can go back to the website by hitting the back button and take the quick little quiz. It's really not a hard quiz, and it should be everything that we talked about in your little song here. I'm going to have a question about where this particular song is from, so make sure you take note. It is Nigerian. And just some easy stuff, just to make sure that you did do it, and then I can give you credit for doing your music lesson for the week. All right? So I hope you enjoyed it today, and I will see you back next week, you guys. Okay, bye.